Okay. I should probably do the intro as always. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. I believe we're live now. I'll just be quickly updating all my socials so everyone knows that I'm live. Sometimes people forget or don't get notified, and then they message me and say, hey, missed it again. So today we'll continue working on this fawn girl that we started 2 streams ago. The concept artist name and the link to their ArtStation profile is in the description. Yeah, let's just wait for a couple more people to show up. Hola, hi Zeta, welcome. Apologies for sharing all the links as I go on stream. It was a very hectic day. Hola, hi Mitographia, welcome. Okay, all done. Awesome. How's the music? Can you guys hear me well? Okie dokie. Let's turn off all the poly paint. I just wanna take a look at what we've done so far. I haven't touched her since last week. Thought it would be cool to just do her on stream. So you guys can follow along, or you can just see the process from start to finish on something like this. Obviously it's just a sculpt for fun, but it could be potentially used in things like 3D printing. But yeah. I can't hear any music, but I can hear you fine. Huh. Well, OBS shows that it's playing and you guys should be hearing it. It is pretty lo-fi. So maybe if you turn up the volume, you'll be able to hear it. Can anyone else hear the music? Definitely there. Hello, Layla. Hello, Marco. Oh, I hear it. Okay, cool. It's just quiet and chill. Yeah, it is. That's how we like it. Quiet and chill. So here's the concept. Concept artist name and works are down below. Let's get into it. Oh, and I also saved Spotlight last time, I believe. Yeah, I did, and the camera views. So now I can like overlay stuff on top. Obviously, it's not gonna match up 100%. If I were to do it, like try to match the 2D perspective that the artist has drawn, I mean, I could hit it, but then as soon as you rotate stuff around, everything will break. I could like rotate it like so, and like so, to match that perspective. Then as soon as you rotate it, it's all like weird now. So I'll keep it symmetrical for now. Yeah, we can hear. Awesome. All sounds nice. Thank you guys. I prefer hardcore death metal when I sculpt, but to each their own. I can't do any like lyric songs. Get too distracted. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I prefer to listen to that kind of stuff in the gym. It's got layers. Oh yes, right. Last time I showed you guys how you can procedurally make this effect. This was poly paint and this was the actual thing. I've been meaning to fix the seam for a while, so we could do that. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a way to fix it like procedurally, so we'll have to like sculpt over it, I guess. So if we try and like smooth it, hey, doesn't look very good. Okay, so there's still lots of things to do. Like model out her coat and all the little jewelry that she has in her hair everywhere. Maybe readjust some of her proportions as well. Let's see. And of course all the asymmetry will come in later as well. Oh, it's weird. For some reason I can't see how many people are watching. Oh well. OBS was being weird today again. So it looks like she has this jacket, and the jacket's got a fur collar around it. Maybe it's like part of her. I'm not sure. It's a very loose sketch, so I'll just assume that it is part of the jacket. So let's duplicate this. Turn off dynamic. We don't need it for now. And now we can like loosely mask out the area that we would want where we would want the fur color to be. Delete hidden. Now if we go to deformation and do a couple of polish by groups, it will get rid of that nasty jagged edge. Just a very simple trick that I use a lot. Now if we turn on Z Modeler, go to extrude all polygons, turn off the symmetry. Now we have something resembling a color. Now we can go in here and let's say polish. Cool. Now the topology is a bit messed up here. We can always zero mesh it. Keeping the groups on, smoothing to the minimum. Maybe, yeah, this should do nicely. Oh, much better. Always nicer to sculpt on a cleaner topology. If you guys at any point have any questions, please let me know. I can like demo stuff if you're unsure on how to do something. Maybe I could show you. Okay, so the base is done. If we go to our transpose tool, just by going like B, T, R, or W I guess is faster. And if you hold down Control and click on the yellow square in the middle, you will inflate the object or deflate it accordingly. So that's what we want to do. We want to add a bit more thickness to it, a bit more volume to it. So we're gonna do that. Now, let's see. Let's find a reference of what kind of fur I want to be on for color. You could also try and using the default fur that comes with ZBrush and then modifying it. There it is. If we subdivide it a couple of times, you'll see it's like fur patches. I've seen some pros use history option, but I don't understand what it's used for. History option in zero meshing? No. Which history option? I think he might mean store history. Store history. It rings a bell. Where is it? Which function is that? Store history. You mean just undo history? The tool history, the control click the timeline above the model and then do something and then merge them? Merge them. Sorry, I don't quite get what you mean. I know there are some tools that work with the history, yes, but I only use it when I want to record time lapses, and that's why you see it here. Like, I kept the history from last time when we were sculpting her, so I can record like a cool reel on Instagram, which reminds me that I should save a file with undo history on. Store empty is probably the more correct term. The store morph targets. Yes, then the history, I forgot. Yeah, so store empty morph target is different from store history. I use it all the time when I'm not when I am unsure about what kind of result I'm looking for. So I could show that. Otherwise, I rarely do any manipulation with the history bar itself. Let me think of something. Just I know mask changed points relies on like history, but yeah, again, I could research it after the stream. I don't think I'll be doing it today, but yeah, I rarely use any like tools in combination with under history. Well, very cool character design. Thank you. It's not mine, but I'm happy to be translating it into 3D. So, story morph target. Let's do that. So, we could start by adding a layer for one of our pieces. And then let's start and like to drag out different things. Obviously not gonna keep it, but I'm just showing you what we can do. Although the result is not bad, you know. We could modify it later to not look as generic as it does right now. You can always try to like turn on backface mask, and then it will do its best not to distort the fur tufts that came before it. We can play around with different scale. And let's say we're done with it. So, where morph target comes into play, we can turn it off, like the layer, and go into morph target and look at what I'm gonna do now. We're gonna store it, and now ZBrush remembers where all of the vertices, polygons, edges are stored. We're not changing the topology. And then if we turn it back on and activate the layer again, then go to Brush, Morph, M, and then G. That's how you quickly pull up Morph Target Brush. If you start painting now, it will start to revert to that stored position, that stored Morph Target kind of history in a way. And yeah, we can like say I don't like these ones, but I don't want to undo all of that stuff. Like I like those ones, even though they came after these ones. So yeah. Or maybe you don't want to do it by hand. Maybe you just want to minimize the effect of everything. Both, there are two ways to do it. You can just decrease or like slide the slider up and down. Up or like right will mean like less effect, left will mean more effect, but at some point it breaks, so you have to be careful. The same effect gives the layer thingy. And also, like, this is 100%, 0 is 0. Then if you go into the negative, it gives you like a different effect than the morph target. It's kind of like going inside the mesh. Can be useful, I guess, in some scenarios. Okay. Nice, so I don't have to mess around with history or fight the geometry to reduce some stuff down. Reduce some stuff down. Do you mean like in ZBrush? No, you don't really fight with history when you do zero measure operations. Not that I know of. Maybe there is a really cool approach, but I don't use it. Very new to character design. What brushes do you use or recommend for hair and furs? Anything you can find online. I hoard all the hair brushes I could find over my 7 or 8 years in the industry. So I have many, but all of them do pretty much the same thing. They just have different thicknesses or different profiles. You can make your own brush very easily. I recommend it. For hair, I would recommend one for hair, which is polygon hair. It's for sculpting. So let me show you what it does. Let's divide this thing a couple of times. Let's auto group these ones so I can isolate this strand. And let's take the full hair. And this is what it does. It's got this very interesting alpha. Oh, it's basically just normal alpha split in half, which creates this fall off here on the left and sharp indent on the right, which imitates hair pretty nicely. So I would recommend it for stylized stuff. It can be used for realistic as well, I guess. Cool. You can just go around and detail it out a little bit more. The hair, I mean. Thank you, you're welcome. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, it's a really cool brush. You have to use it sparingly though. Don't overdo it. I feel like I talk about it almost every stream, but there's this rule about areas of interest and areas of rest on the character design, and we should respect it. If you've never heard of it and you're like, what the hell is she talking about? So basically it means that for good, well-balanced character design, let's let ZBrush do its thing. You need areas of interest and areas of rest. Areas of interest are usually areas that are full of details and shape changes, plane changes, or where the areas of rest are usually not flat, but simpler, more sleek areas. Can be I don't know, a character's thigh. Can be very clean, but then there'll be some really cool belts more towards the hip or waist area, and then there'll be area of rest on the chest, and then there'll be more areas of interest around the neck with I don't know, a scarf or some sort of jewelry, you know. And now if you look at any design that has ever been done in the history of character design, you'll see what I'm talking about. So with this brush, it's important not to overdo it and not just to go crazy, adding strands upon strands upon strands upon strands, you know. It starts to look too noisy and unbalanced. So I'm being very strategic with where I place my details. It never occurred to me to go DL some hairbrushes. DL? Here I would have stem standard then H polish the one side lol. Yeah, yep, that could work as well, but why do it if you have one brush, right? The 2080 rule, yeah, it has many names. It also kind of flows into another rule of primary, secondary, and tertiary shapes. So it's another character design 101 principle that is very good to know and be aware of when maybe designing your own character or even translating somebody else's concept into 3D. You need to understand that the concept artist understands those principles, so you should too. It's unfortunately one of the main things that I see in like beginners artworks is that they jump from primary shapes, like very big shapes, to tertiary shapes like pores and little memory wrinkles and you know, like all the little cuts on the leather, all the distressed little bits, but there are no secondary shapes that support the whole thing. The tricky part with hair is the overlapping of the strands where they emerge from the scalp. Yeah, that's true. It's an important thing to also take into account, that your character is not wearing a wig. It actually should make sense. Like right now, mine doesn't make much sense. The front hair strands look nice, but then it's just like one scalp piece and a couple of braids. So if we take a look at this, this is not really nice. So we'll work on building that up and adding more layers so it looks more organic. Did you go to school for this or did you learn on your own? I did get higher education, yes. Did they teach me this at my university? They did not. I learned it online from streams actually on YouTube. Mostly free material. I don't think I haven't taken that many paid courses. Most of my character design knowledge came from work experience and internet. And I still do. I still like join streams, join different webinars, just absorb all the knowledge I can so I can then pass it down to you guys during these live streams and apply it to my work when I do personal projects. So, with this, let's keep on adjusting the silhouette. I'm trying to break it up, like the uniformity of all of these tufts. I don't really like it. Oop, let's turn this off. Oh, I see. Wow. A layer. Oh, I think I'll be okay without the layer. Oh, I see. Let's pull up our morph target and try and use it in this case. So this is perfect. So remember how we stored our morph target prior to me like sculpting all this, or when we turned the layer off? So because we have this poly group from the start, we can isolate it and we can get rid of all of this nastiness by just Turning the layer back on and going over this with a Morph target brush. There you go. And in one click, it's all done. Awesome. We can clean up the edges as well. Probably do it with my stylus. Oh. But yeah, that could have been easily solved had I turned on the backface mask prior to sculpting on it. But oh well. Heroes without capes? You mean people who share knowledge online? Smart approach. Thank you, ZBrush Zookeeper. That's one username. You like make animals in ZBrush? Hey, let's bring up our fur again. I feel like at some point it will have to change directions to go that way. So try doing something like this. Not that we're ever gonna see that part, I think. No, we do. And I don't like how small it's getting, so let me undo a couple of strokes. I want it to be bigger. So even though it's stylization, this kind of stuff still needs to make sense, you know. Fur needs to like be groomed or go in a direction that makes sense. So there would be like a directional change right around here if we want all the fur tufts to be oriented this way, you know. I'm trying to follow some sort of logic with this. And also like zooming out and like squinting my eyes, and I'm trying to see how noisy the mesh is like coming, you know. So I think fewer tufts is better, and we can always add more if we want. Critters for fun. Oh, nice. What was your most favorite critter that you've ever sculpted? Hey Layla, good morning. 6:15 here in Poland. Awesome work, looking good. Thank you, Rafael. That's very early, but thank you for joining. We can quickly mask out this area. Oh, we could, because I don't want to create a separate polygroup. Let's just pick a lasso, isolate this area, and now Control-Shift X to grow your selection. So what I'm trying to do is just to get this area visible without having this area visible. And the reason why that is because I want to add a couple more tufts here without like you know, overlapping with the other side when I'm sculpting. Yeah, we can work with this. It's better. Oh, what did I click? Okay. Okay. Looks great. One thing we could do is turn it back on. Go to clay polish. Clay polish it once. Just to make it a bit simpler. Yes, it like takes away the details, but we can sculpt them back on if we want to. Does it look like fur? Yes, it does. Want a more mild effect. I'm like tweaking the settings a little bit. Are you into traditional sculpting too? I really want to try. I haven't done traditional sculpting since art school. So I'd like to get back into it, yes. I do like silly little sculptures every now and again. When I want something from a certain fandom that isn't sold online. Like when Tears of the Kingdom came out a few years back. I really had this weird urge to sculpt something from there. And I sculpted a little Korok with a backpack. And I actually like added a wire through the sculpture, and like the Korok had a lantern that could light up and you could like switch it on and off. I could actually show you. If you wait for 1 second. I'm back. There's the guy. Turns on. Pretty big. if you like compare it to my head. I know it's not the first thing that comes to mind when you ask a person about traditional sculpting. That's what I do. Come on, ZBrush. Alright, gotta get that protein in. Let's say every 45 minutes. That's beautiful, super cool, thank you. Yeah, if you haven't played Zelda, they're like little guys that are scattered all over the map. And they always like need help, because they're very, like, you know, helpless. And yeah, they make really cute sounds. And they're, I think in the lore, little forest spirits that like help the land thrive. Which is very like Shinto, you know, mythology from Japan. But like the spirits and whatnot. And how these spirits are like often connected to nature, and how they help people who live in the areas that they inhabit. But yeah, don't listen to me, or I'll go on a whole rant. I find Japanese culture fascinating. Never Pixelic Extreme, where I'm reminded I'm nowhere near as good as I thought I was. No! Don't say that, okay? That's not what these streams are for, and I'm sorry you feel that way, but you should not be reminded of any such thoughts. I go on ArtStation every single day, and I see just the most amazing art ever being put out there every single day. Makes me feel inspired that I need to, you know, keep on improving. I don't know, it's just like a very long-term goal to become better at all of these things, like anatomy, plasticity, composition, color theory, character design. Yeah, I'd want to do so many more things, and can't imagine being good at all of them at where I am now, which is already like 8 years into the industry, you know, so it's not like I've only started. But I wouldn't want to know all the answers now. It's like, it's boring. And then imagine that you do reach that point somehow. Although I don't believe that it could ever happen, because even the most talented people in the industry realize that they still have room for improvement. But imagine that that happens, and what do you do then? You know? You've got it all. Everything looks perfect. Do you just, I don't know, start a new career? I don't know, I feel like us humans have this innate urge to improve, to develop skills to become better. But yeah, that's me going on another rant. Always learning, always improving. That's good. That's good. Okay. By the way, you'll see me jumping around the model like crazy, so don't mind me. It's just how I work. I'll see one thing at some point that doesn't look good, and I'll completely abandon whatever I was doing in the moment, and I'll just go do that thing. With fur clumps, I AMM brushes, that's pretty cool. So the clumps are actually VDM brushes. So if you go to B, and then I'm not sure what's the word? Hotkey is for it, but it's called Chisel Organic. And if you scroll towards like, I don't know, middle section, you'll find Animal Fur 01, and then there's 02 and 03, and 4. So far, and 5. Oh my god, I have a lot. So far I've been only using 01, which is the shape that I want, but I keep on tweaking it so it doesn't look too generic. What character were you priming on Instagram story? Was it Jinx? Is she finally alive? Is she finally alive? Not yet, but she will be alive soon. The character I was priming on the story was Siri. I don't know. Yeah, she's not assembled right now. I dismantled her after I took a photo for the story. But yeah, I primed Siri Sculpt. I believe it was made by Bulkmancers. They're lovely, talented 3D artists that create different 3D figurines for printing. And I am a huge Witcher fan, so I read all the books, and this figurine in particular has Ciri as she is portrayed in the books. So when she's a bit younger, more like teenager-ish. But yeah, I will be probably painting her this weekend. And then Jinx is in the works. It takes a very long time to rework a game asset into a 3D printable one, as it turns out. Well, I was a traditional sculptor and modeler when I started working in the field between 2003 and 2008, poly by poly nerves for characters, but I ended up going completely into a completely tech area. Interesting. And I feel like I let all my artistic side die. I've been a character TD for 13 years now, but I'm trying to get back into sculpting. Recently I made a realistic Bruce Willis bust using Chavan clay. That sounds amazing. Maybe you should listen to your gut and do more artistic stuff. And I don't believe you can let it die. It might have just gotten a bit dusty, but you can't like kill creativity inside you. Didn't even know ZBrush had that brush. Yeah, it's amazing, right? Now I'm considering trying ZBrush, I think. Oh cool, I worked on the series The Witcher. Oh, you did? Cool. How was it? Hi Layla. Hi Sun. Welcome. I think I forgot to do the normal intro at the start of the stream. So, if you're one of the people who have no idea who I am, I mean, it should be pretty self-explanatory. There's my name somewhere at the bottom, and my tag on Instagram, and all the links to my portfolio and artworks and everything in between are down below. You can check it out there. Really cool. Okay. What are we doing? Intense but fun. Yeah, I would imagine. Checking. Let's do something with this blob of hair. Pretty meh at the moment. If I remember anything correctly from being a little girl, there's this type of braids. Are they called French braids? I don't remember. Basically, it looks like that's what she has in the concept, so that's what I'm gonna try and imitate. Let's divide it a couple of times and uncrease it. Adding just a little bit of asymmetry for here. How did you end up in South Korea? Work? South Korea? I'm not in South Korea. Where'd you get that info? I've never been to South Korea actually. Would love to go at some point. Oh, sorry, I think I saw a new art station. No, I don't think I mentioned South Korea anywhere. Again, never been. Are my links wrong? Is it not my links? 1 second. No, all the links are correct. No South Korea. Maybe you saw New Zealand? Because I live in New Zealand. Increase it. So remember that rule we talked about, areas of rest, areas of interest. So right now, we want to keep the face very clean, so that will be an area of rest. Her jacket could be very clean as well, area of rest. The color, obviously, will be area of interest. The hair will be pretty detailed, so area of interest as well. The horns, the ears could be area of rest. It's pretty good. Then this is pretty simple, so it could also be area of rest. Just make sure it's more visible to the camera. I'm sorry, Jennifer Park's profile is from South Korea. Who's Jennifer Park? Oh, yes, yes. So, she is the concept art author. Yeah, the amazing. Love that stuff. So the concept art is theirs. What do you mean by area of rest? So it's the concept we discussed a bit earlier on the stream, which is any good character design has a good balance of areas of rest and areas of interest. I could go on another rant, or I could just show you an example. Let me find some sort of example. Or maybe if you guys could give me like an iconic character that everyone knows. And we could break it down together. Okay, I can't find. Let me like just find something that I have saved. My collections. Auckland? I live in New Zealand. I lived for almost 2 years in New Zealand in a place called Snells Beach, north of Auckland. Cool. What were you doing here? Kent Milton, Disney sculptor. I'll look into them. right after we break down the areas of rest and interest thing. So let's break down this one. Has anyone seen Arcane? So it's a recent 2D concept art of Maddie, character from season 2 from Arcane. Really cool character design, and it's pretty like clean and high res, so let's do that. Okay. I'll start outlining the areas of rest, and you'll start to see what I mean. So that's rest. That is rest. This kind of is rest. This is area of rest. This is a very typical area of rest. This. Oh, gloves as well, perfect. And then, let's pick this hat as well. Very good. The color. Cool. And this. Areas of interest would be all the little details and areas where they exist. So all the buckles, all the gold trims, all the little bolts and whatever else you call them. Little pockets, all the intricate folds. All of these trims. And if you like squint your eyes now at the screen, you'll see that they're balancing out the greens and the pinks very well. So therefore, pretty good character design. That's like very simple example though, and very simple explanation as well. Basically, your eyes will get tired, so if you keep on looking at something that has maximum amount of detail, something very, very loud with everything detailed out, can you imagine her having these like golden trims and accents all over the design, like without any break? If like for some reason the character designer they wouldn't know what they were doing, and they would add gold trims all over the pants, you know, they would add not like free little things here, but they would like repeat themselves constantly. So that's what good character design is, and this would be a bad character design. So that's what I mean by areas of rest and areas of interest. So Shining Armor was saying, when your eyes look at something, there's a chance they get fatigued from registering extensive detail, so when you're focusing on appeal, you design low detail areas that just look nice to the eyes, so the eyes can relieve themselves of fatigue. Yes, that's a very well put together summary of my rant. Yeah, it is a good summary of it, yes. Kent Milton, Disney sculptor. You probably have seen their work. Oh yeah, yeah. So he's like the OG sculptor. Oh, I understand. Referring to where your eyes go in the composition. Yeah. I'll never forget that woman's face. I mean, Maddie. Working on a feature film, there was a studio called Hoo Hoo Studios over there. Yeah, I remember Hoo Hoo. It's closed now. Yeah, didn't they? When they the one that made mostly? I'm glad I was able to explain that well enough that it matches up with your explanation in a way. Time for me to be a teacher on 3D art. Of course. If you have knowledge to share, you should. Thank you so much for explaining that. You're welcome. That's why I'm here, guys. That's why all of these videos are titled Exploring Character Appeal. Because I do possess some knowledge on the topic. And as one great artist once said, Vitaly Bulgarov, said that at some point you need to free up your C drive space in your head to let new knowledge in, and you free up that space by, you know, passing down the knowledge and sharing it with people. I don't believe in the approach that, you have to keep everything to yourself so nobody copies you. All art is derivative at this point. Us humans have been creating art for so long that it's kind of like just silly to try or to even to say that you're unique. Nothing is unique anymore, and it could sound very negative, but in my eyes it's just being realistic. And yeah, my whole philosophy is just caring about people who also want to do what you do good now. And I think, yeah, I have something I could share. And it's awesome that you guys are here, and obviously you want to take something away from this stream, and I'm here for it. What do you guys think about that? Do you like to share your tips and tricks? Get rid of that. I feel like everyone already knows what I know, so I usually don't speak too much. You would be surprised sometimes. The things that come so easy to you, and one day you'll be doing it and somebody will be looking over your shoulder and they'll be like, how did you do that? And you're like, oh, you just click this, click that, and there you go. They're like, oh wow. You never know. You could somehow at some point change the whole approach for someone else, Maybe they've been doing something backwards this whole time. I don't know. Or maybe wasting too much time on a certain step that, could be simplified. If that person ever comes along, they get my full undivided attention for sure. You need to find those people if you want to connect. That's totally up to you. But in April it's gonna be a year since I started my Discord community, and when I was a year ago when I was still debating whether I should do it or not. I was like, oh, but what am I gonna do? Like, who needs my stuff? Who needs my knowledge? Like, I wasn't sure if it was a good idea or not. And now we have like almost, I think like 300 people there, which is wild to me. And everyone's so nice, and everyone's so, you know, responsive and supportive, and you know, that would have never happened had I not, you know, took a step forward and outside of my comfort zone. Because I do have an imposter syndrome every now and again. And I feel like we all do at some point. You just need to overcome it if you want to help someone. And just become better. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. But I do feel like I improve a lot more when I give feedback or when I explain stuff. Because I see somebody else like struggling with something or making a mistake that I have made in the past. And just like going over it and, you know, giving notes really helps to, you know, like hotwire that connection in my brain that you do it this way and not that way because yada yada yada. If I just watch a video of someone explaining how to do something, no, that's not gonna cut it. Goes in one way, goes out the other. Yeah. But I guess everyone's different. I got a ton of feedback on Letitia's characters. Nice. Oh, do you mean in our Discord or? Sorry, everyone's nicknames are different across all platforms, so trying to keep track of it, but okay, I don't really like how this turned out, so I think I'm gonna undo it. It's okay. Hold this here. Yeah, I think we'll stream for another 20 minutes and then I'll be wrapping up. So if you guys have any questions or any things you're unsure of, maybe I could demo it really fast. I usually can. So don't hesitate to reach out. Or maybe I could show off what I've done on Jinx for the 3D print, because she's got a similar braids. She's got similar braids to these ones. Let me quickly just say. I always have to try and struggle with what I see for me to get. I'm not quite sure if I understand what you mean. So you always like struggle to push yourself to do something? Is that right? Hey, you gave me feedback. I'm Razor. Oh, I see, I see. Hi. There is a Discord? Yes, there is. I believe if you go to my link tree, my socials, down below. The first link is Discord server, then ArtStation, and YouTube, Telegram channel, and LinkedIn. So you can connect with me on any of those platforms. All of them. Go crazy. When I see something someone else does, I always try to break it down from the video, so I end up struggling with it for some days to weeks before things finally click together. I mean, it is a challenge to like, what's the phrase? Break someone's brain apart or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, to understand somebody else's pipeline, it's tricky. And to repeat something in 3D from a 2D image on screen that you see somebody else made. Yeah, tricky. What was I gonna do? I think I was gonna show you guys what I've done for Jinx. I sculpted her hair, so when it 3D prints, it's a bit more fun to paint. So let's wait for ZBrush to load it up. Come on, ZBrush, you can do it. It must be one heavy file. Now there you go. So, if we turn off all the poly paint, zoom in on her hair, pretty intense, but when it 3D prints, it will be much more fun to like paint it, and then all of these ridges that I've painted minis before, it's really cool to highlight them, sort of do like a curvature map in 3D, but you do it with a technique called dry brushing. So you either use one of like your old brushes or makeup brushes, weirdly, to do the trick as well. If you have makeup or use it, you can sacrifice one of your brushes to do a technique called dry brushing, and it gives really nice effect to all the like raised geometry on your sculpt. Yeah, so I was mostly just converting everything back to high poly, switching to all of these colors that I painted in Substance. Obviously they weren't here in ZBrush, so I had to manually import back in all the geo with like low poly game ready geo with the textures from Substance, and subdivided lots of times to get enough polygons to capture the diffuse, and then I reprojected it one by one on all of these pieces, and some of these pieces, no matter what I did, would not merge together even though they had the same amount of the same number of levels. So that took me like 3 days, pretty sure, or like 3 evenings, let's say. But yeah, finally ready to be posed in Character Creator 4, and then I'll be able to 3D print her. That's the plan. If you're wondering, Layla, why do you need all the color? You don't need it for 3D printing, that's true. But if I want to show it off as a 3D print, I would want to make it have color. So I'll probably like render it as if it is like a real 3D print, you know, like a fake 3D table or something. So yeah. How do you set the scale of the mesh in ZBrush before you export it out for printing? I think OBJ exports 100 times the original size for some reason. So I usually scale my stuff in Maya, so I'm not the best person to ask. But aren't there so many different plugins here? STL, no? What was it called? Scale Master? I usually, if you have Blender or Maya or anything, make a cube with the height of what you want your print to be. So let's say I want her to be 25 centimeters, which is true. So I would export out a 25 centimeter tall cube. In this case, I guess it's a rectangle. Rectangular cube. Disregard me, it's been a long day. And then I import it into ZBrush. And then you can put all of these pieces, all of them, into one group. Oh boy. I guess we don't need this. Okay. And then you say transpose set. And let's say you have your cube here from Blender or Maya or whatever. It's like this tall, or maybe smaller, I don't know. What you do is you go here and you say transpose set. Turn this off for now. Place the gizmo, turn off perspective at the bottom. Now I can just scale it up. I know it's a bit of a weird method, but it does work. So that's what I think I'm gonna use. Remember to go down in subdivision levels on all of them, so you can quickly do it by clicking all low. So ZBrush will go for each and every subtool and set it to the subdivision level 0 or 1. And then when you scale, your ZBrush won't be like exploding, or it won't be like crashing, because it takes less processing power to do it on lower subdivision levels. So yeah, other than that, I think this one works as well. I just haven't used it, but I would imagine it's pretty straightforward. So you say centimeters and you set one of them to like 25. I don't know, I'll have to test it out. There's a video where you're working in retopology or just modeling. For Jinx, I retopologized it off screen because it had to be done very fast. And yeah, there wasn't a stream for that. Like a retopology screenshot is on my ArtStation post. If you want to like see how, or like what kind of decisions I made for the final topology. It's not perfect by any means, like the flowers are not optimized whatsoever. I had to cut some corners to make it in time for the contest. But thank you. How do you make your eyes? I dig into the skull, place a sphere, and then extract the top and bottom from a mask, then remesh them together. Yours look more natural though. How do you do that? Give me secrets. So I covered the entire process on the first stream that we made her. So if you want to go into detail on that, I would just go back 2 streams, so it would be sometime in February, maybe beginning of February. And yeah, I'll go here. That was 2 weeks ago, and one 4 weeks ago. Here it is. Let's turn off my lovely voice. To be honest, I've gotten used to, you know, hearing myself, and I don't cringe as much anymore. But yeah, I think I just did it with clay build-up. I just, you know, dug inside the sphere and then damp standard on the corners to give it an appearance of an eyelid. And then at some point she stopped looking like Grinch and started looking like a little cute fawn girl. Hello Layla, hi Anjana. Hi, good morning Layla, hi Saha. Welcome. Thank you for your answer, Layla. You're welcome. I see, I'll be trying to steal your knowledge after the stream then. Go for it. I do not mind. In the slightest. If I did, I would probably not be here. Sounds reasonable, don't you think? Ooh, guys, I started watching Breaking Bad the first time. I know I'm like late to the party by like, what, 10 years, maybe more? Such a good show. That's basically, apart from me allocating, let's say like, I don't know, 60% of my CPU right now to sculpting, and then another 10 to talking to you guys. The rest is dedicated to thinking about Breaking Bad, because I'm like on beginning of season 2 now, and can't get it out of my head. It's that good of a show. Maybe I'll sculpt Walter. Like stylized. I don't know. Oh, why you? I'm good, thank you. Very good, actually. It's Friday here, 7 PM. I am officially off work for now, till Monday. So, yeah, pretty good. Gonna go and chill a bit after the stream, maybe make some tea. Watch Breaking Bad. What are your guys' like best TV shows of all time, in your opinion? Is it even possible to single out one piece of media and say it's the best? I don't know if I could. Stylized version of Walter? Yeah, why not? You know, the main guy from Breaking Bad. Scavenger's Reign. I've heard a lot about it, yet I have not seen it. Oh, it's that one. It only recently came out though, and it's the best TV show of all time? For you? I see. Yeah, it's a very unique style. I like it. What's that comic? Not comic, but like... that artist's name that inspired this style. You guys can see what I'm talking about. This style. You know what I'm talking about. Pablo Munoz Gomez has made multiple illustrations in this style in ZBrush, by the way, which was bananas. I should really know, but I don't remember. Narcos, another one that I've heard a lot of good things about, yet I haven't seen. Wait, Narcos has Pedro Pascal, and I haven't seen it yet. Well, I know what I'm gonna be watching next. He is a goat, but her face is like mine. Yes. Kinda. I don't know. So... fawn girl, I don't know. A furry? I don't know if it's appropriate to call her a furry. Let's quickly poly paint this. There's layers, blah blah blah. Oh, come on. Okay, let's do it again. She is technically a furry character since she's an anthropomorphic goat lady. I see. I see. Thank you. That's good to know. I'm not very well versed in the furry knowledge. But I would call her a furry. Looks amazing, thank you, TK Kashi. Yeah. He's cute. But again, I feel like I talked more than I sculpted today. Which is no news for anyone who has been watching me consistently for the past 2 years I've been streaming. Yep, same old, same old. I mean, can you blame me? I sit in the office all day and I don't talk to anyone unless I have to. And then I socialize during lunch break, and that's it. That's a weird gap. Why did I make that? Don't worry, I'm not as well versed as I appear. I'm just a terrible person. No, what do you mean? Terrible person because you know about furries? I don't think that is enough to justify calling someone a terrible person. Your painting skill is amazing. Thank you, Hassan. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. I do it all the time. I think I'm gonna be wrapping up for today. So just a couple more minutes. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer them. If not, I'll be going. And add a bit more volume through the fur coat thingy. No questions from me. It was a nice stream. Indeed it was. I enjoyed it a lot. You guys were really nice to chat with me. Let me do one final thing. It's always nice to like check your poly paint with the flat color turned on. It's just, oh, you can't see it because of my face and the image. You just go to material and select flat color. You'll go into this mode where you can inspect your colors. But usually I'm either in skin shade or basic material. Thank you. Thanks for the stream, although I just got in here. Oh, you can rewatch it from the start or just join the next one in 2 weeks' time for our hangout, which we do every other week that I'm not streaming here. We hang out in our Discord community. The link is down below. It says my socials, and then there's a link to my link tree. get her out of here. She doesn't deserve to be here. I have a question. Do we retopologize the model in ZBrush or any other software package? There is a way to retopologize in ZBrush. That being said, I don't do it in ZBrush. I do it in Maya. You can do it in so many other software though. And there is a way to do it in ZBrush with Z-spheres or another method as well. But I don't think it's as tuned for it as other software. ZBrush is great for many things, like sculpting, and I do 99% of my modeling in ZBrush nowadays. I don't know where the last 1% is. Don't ask me. But I don't do retopology in here. Done with Maddie. No. Jacob will do if what? Okay. Thank you so much for the answer. All good. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, it was a pleasure. And I'll see you all in 2 weeks' time here, or in 1 week's time on my channel. Same time. And yeah, happy sculpting. Bye.